Okay, so I'm trying to set up this new router that I just got from Netgear, and I wanted to um, add it to Insight. So I logged into Insight Pro. I went to my West Networks organization and I added a location. So I clicked Add New Location with a little plus there. We're going to call it the 2404 office. I gave it a device admin password, name, put in my address, hit save. Excellent. So we've got this new 2024 office. So I'm hoping now I can add devices, add a single device, and I'm going to put the serial number. So I've got a serial number of a switch. This is going to be the switch that we're going to use for this office. WestNet 2404-N. And the -N is going to be for Netgear -switch. Next. Manage with Insight. Okay, so log into your device's local browser interfacing using this key. So let me just write that down. Notepad. So, switch key. And it says log into your device's local browser interfacing using this access key. And then enable Insight management mode. Are you ready to manage your device with Insight? Yes. Okay. There we go. And now I need to add my router. So let's see how I get back to this. View devices. So now I need to go to add single device. And I have the router here. I haven't opened the box yet because I kind of want to do a box unopening, but I wanted to also get Insight set up. Okay, so I have a router. It has a serial number and a MAC. Okay, so serial number, go. And then we're going to call this WestNet 2404-N-router. And the MAC address. Next. Is now register and link to your Netgear Pro account. This device will reboot after receiving the configuration. Click here to configure VLAN port membership with our existing new devices. So view devices. Okay, so now we have a router and a switch. So I'm assuming if I connect these to the internet, I should be good. So now I want to add my Netgear Nighthawk. So let's see if we can add this. I don't even know if this is possible. So add single device, because we're going to use this as the internet connection. Next. Okay, so I can't add the Nighthawk. That was disappointing. Let me see if I can add this other device. I have another device here. Oh, it looks like it's letting me add this one. IMEI. Next. Device name. Let's call this WestNet 2404-Netgear-LTE. Okay, so we won't add this for right now. We'll just wait. But that would have been cool. Okay, I've got these devices online, so now I'm going to continue this recording, but I wanted to record adding these.
Okay, so I got this new router from Netgear they want me to play with. It's really small. Sorry for the camera moving there. And they claim that this is a 10 gigabit per second router. And so we are going to set this up in InTouch, and I'm going to compare it with our high performance routers, but also just want to see how the setup is and how it works. So I've got my laptop set up. I'm just going to use a hotspot to bring it online right now, and then I'm going to plug it into our rack and give it a 6 gigabit internet connection. But for right now, I'm just going to get it online on Insight. So I have a hotspot that I'm going to plug into it as the internet, and then that should give it an internet connection. So I'm going to plug this into WAN 1 for right now, just to get it online. And then I'm going to plug an Ethernet cable into, let's see, my pile of cables. I need to find an Ethernet cable, and I'll plug it in right there. And then I'll plug my laptop into it, which I have right here. So I've got my laptop, it's gonna plug in, because I gotta like put in a code. When I added the router to Insight, it said I need to put in a code. So I want to do this, and then I want to plug in the switch, and then I want to power it all up. So I'm gonna get this all wired up. Okay, so I've got it all plugged in. Plugged in the router. I don't like that it has the front power. I feel like it would be better with the back power, but that's only my personal opinion. And then I've connected the router to the switch, and then the router to my laptop, and then the router to the hotspot that is booting up right now. So it's not on the internet yet. And then I'm gonna log in. I've got to put in a code to enable Insight management. And so I'm gonna do that. I'll turn on screen recording. At this point, you don't really need to see this visually, so I'm gonna use screen recording and do the rest of the setup and audio via the screen recording. Okay, so I've got the switch and everything turned on. You can see it's already given me an IP address here, so let's open up the command line. IP config. Let me turn off my wireless just so it's not conflicting with anything. There we go. So I've got my Ethernet. So I'm going to open up the browser and go to 192.168.1.1, which is the Netgear router. At least I think it is. Perfect. And okay, that worked. I just typed in password, kind of guessing, and it says, okay, welcome, let's get set up with your router. Click next, click agree. You're just a few steps completing your step. Internet's been detected. Admin account, it wants me to set up a new password. So I've got to type that in there. We are Eastern time, so I'll set that up right there. New firmware detected. Go ahead next. Do an upgrade update. It's going to download this new firmware. Okay, it says upgrading the image. Please wait. Okay, it says the firmware has been updated. Hit OK. Okay, it's going to reboot the device. And I do see the lights changed. So on the lights, it's red power. The internet, cloud, and SFP Plus are off. Okay, it said something went wrong, but I think it's just because it rebooted. So I'm gonna hit OK, and then reload it. Yeah, there you go. Now I probably type in my new password. Yep, I did. And I'd like to enable Insight. So let's see, Insight mode not registered. So let's click on that. Negotiating a gigabit. My LAN 2, which is connected to the switch below, is negotiating at 2.5 gigabits. LAN 3 is a gigabit. Oh, it says Insight's connected right there. So we'll see what happens when I log into the Insight Cloud portal here. Firmware's up to date. Oh, it got the name. That name I assigned in Insight. Let's see here. We have WAN. I've got my two WANs. Convert LAN 5 to WAN 2. I'm going to go ahead and do that. IPv4. Hit apply. Then I've got dual WAN. So dual WAN is failover mode. WAN 1, WAN 2, DNS lookup. So it's going to fail over between WAN 1 and WAN 2. So the dual WAN is a failover option from WAN 1 to WAN 2. LAN, we've got VLAN settings, untagged, tagged, excluded. 192.168.7. I'll play with that. We've got our port settings, static DHCP leases, static routes. We have a basic firewall, enable port scan and DOS protection, and enable DMZ server, enable respond to ping on internet. So by default, it's turned off. Enable SIP ALG. By default, it's turned on. Session timeouts, VPN pass-through. So then we have rules. So services, source address, destination interface, destination address, schedule, and then allow and deny. Okay, so source and destination, IP tables. Then we have port forwarding, port triggering, UPnP, service management. So it looks like you can add services here. And then you can add schedules. So I'm assuming you can have something different from Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and that's kind of cool. We have IPsec VPN and site-to-site, which I'm assuming site-to-site would work from Netgear to Netgear. Administration, we have our general settings, firmware updates, user management, time, syslog, UPnP, LED control. It's kind of interesting. Backup and restore, reboot, troubleshoot. I'm gonna test my my speed. This is gonna test my little Cat 18 hotspot. So you have a speed test, a ping test, DNS lookup, trace route, and a packet capture. It's not bad. Like little tools there. And hopefully I'll see this show up on Insight now. And then I need to get my switch on Insight. So I don't know if the switch is just going to report to Insight automatically or if I need to log into the switch and tell it to report to Insight. So we can go to what's networks. Okay, so it says one of two devices. So let's see here. Online pro routers, online switch. Okay, so I need to get the IP address of my switch. So let's see if I can go into LAN maybe, VLAN options, DHCP leases. I don't know how to see clients. Dashboard. Release renew, my internet. Check for updates. Well, I know my IP address is .14. So maybe we just do 192.168.1.13? No? 15? No? 12? I'm trying to figure out what IP the switch would be. I don't see a client list. Oh, here we go, clients. Asus Fold. Let's try 214. I think that did it. Okay. Oh, there's my registration key. 3. And submit. So I did that. Register your net, register your device, get a registration key. The key is required within 30 days. Okay. Well, I did that. Now what do I do? Once your device is registered, entering the device IP and your web browser will take you directly to the UI. Okay. Summary. Okay. Control C, delete, Control V. Well, that didn't really work, but it might just be that I did something wrong. I know I want to turn on Insight. Locally managed, Insight managed. Hit OK, hit OK. Applying this configuration to about 90 seconds. Okay. Oh, it just rebooted. Okay, so I can see the LAN port 2 just came back online. There's that right there. Oh, switch is online now. That's good. So I don't think I need to worry about this now. Okay, so the old password is still working. Let's see here. Notice this device is managed by Netgear Insight Cloud. Okay. So it's Insight mode. See my cloud agents are there. Hit apply. So it changes the... Oh, I think it got a password and now it's kicked me out. Okay. So everything's online. 28 ports available. 1 Pro router. I don't have any wireless access clients yet because I can't add the wireless device. But it says everything is okay. So then I've got my topology router. Okay. Oh, look at this. So 1 instant VPN group connected. I've got some details there. I've got my router, my VPN, mobile. Wireless, I can't add my wireless yet. I'm trying to get the license so I can add another device. Wired, connected using power, connected not using power, disabled, error free. Okay. I've got my switch. Oh, it's downloading some firmware. Okay. Firmware. So my switch is downloading firmware right now. Devices. There you go. Firmware's downloading. Clients. I've got my Asus Fold and my switch online. Really clean. Some troubleshooting tools here, device configuration. So the switch is still trying to maybe update or something. So we'll see what it does in settings. So I'll let all the firmware update, let the network stabilize. But overall, it looks like we're online. So I don't know what just happened to my. Oh, there we go. So I'll let all this sync, let the download, let it firmware. Let the firmware update on that router or on that switch, and then I will. Oh, there you go, configuration prior. So I'll let all that go. We'll see what happens once it stabilizes. Okay, so I've got my router and switch online. I'm still waiting for some licenses to be pushed so I can add an AP. I have an AP that I want to install, but I'll show you what happens when I try. Add device, single device, serial number. Let's see here. See what happens. Oh, it's not letting me add all the serial number. IP, hold on, soon. 11 B5G F. There's a go. Oh, this one might let me add. Hold on. Device name. ListNet. 2404 -N AP1. Wants me to put a MAC address. Let's see here. try this. Next. Oh, device name is too long. Congratulations on install the latest firmware. Okay, let me plug this in and see if it gets registered. Okay, so I've plugged it into port 2 on the switch. Oh, look at that. So it shows one port connected. So if I go to wired, maybe. So I plugged into port 2 on the switch. And so we'll see. I don't know if it's just going to automatically connect or if I'm going to have to log into it and connect. So we'll just let this see what happens here. I've got the AP added. And so we just need to see if it shows up or what it does. So in my devices, this says this is waiting for first connect. So that's kind of cool. If I go to clients, well, I see something that says Matthew. I'm assuming that's the name of the AP. And I have his IP, so maybe I can browse that IP. Let's just see what happens. Nope, that worked. Let's see here. Oh, it's rebooting. Do not power disconnect. Okay. So we'll just... Oh. It says it's reporting to the cloud. Nope. Nope. It says it's the cloud shows so I logged into the AP and then I typed an admin password and then it asked me if I want to do Insight or local and then it logged me back out. So I don't know if it's going to reboot or if it's going to connect. So right here I'm waiting to see if this AP reports online. And I got the IP address by going to the client list because I was having a hard time seeing the client list, and I was able to see client connect, but it also looks like it was advertising a Wi-Fi, so maybe it was used in our lab because I see employees were connecting to it, which was kind of funny. So now I'm waiting to see if it reports online or if it's going to, like, what's it going to do. Oh, now it wants me to do a new password. Okay. Oh, there we go. So it's connected. Gateway is reachable. Management mode. It says it's disconnected. AP is in an Insight mode. Grayed out configurations are controlled by Insight. The cloud icon is green on the router. And And I was like, well, maybe I need a firmware update. So I'm trying to see if there's a way to check for a firmware update. Let's see here. Upgrade, firmware upgrade. Oh, there's a pretty big firmware upgrade, so let's go ahead and upgrade the firmware. Let's see, it's upgrading the image, so it downloaded and now it's upgrading. Okay, so it says the firmware's been upgraded. Right now I just got a flashing orange light for the cloud and power. So I'm assuming it's rebooting, and then once it comes back online, I'll see if it reports. Okay, so it's back online. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so the UI loads. Let's check let's see if it's reporting here. Oh, look at that. AP's online. Okay, so now I've got a router, a switch, and an AP. I have internet. So let's create a wireless SSID. Settings. Wi-Fi and captive portal, Wi-Fi scheduling, fast roaming. Okay, so maybe hit plus. Oh, add SSID. There we go. Okay, so westnet-in. Oh, look at this. 2.4, 5, and 6. I'm going to turn off 2.4. I'm going to do 5 and 6 gigahertz. Set a password. Oh wow, you can NAT or bridge. We're just gonna put it on the regular VLAN because that's all I have set up right now. I don't want client isolation. I'll do band steering if I can. I'll do fast roaming. Oh, okay. We'll do that. We don't need a schedule. Save. Okay, so I have WestNet in, enabled with 5 and 6 gigahertz. AirBridge. Load balancing facilitates equal distribution of clients across your available access points. When AP reaches its capacity based on number of clients or channel utilization, load balancing prevents new clients from connecting. Oh, interesting. So wireless settings, network settings, multi-PSK settings, and mesh. Oh, look at this. Auto mesh. We'll have to play with that later. Okay, so now let me see if I can connect my phone to the Wi-Fi. I don't see the SSID yet, but that doesn't mean it's not there. Wireless. Okay, so I have everything online. I've tested the Wi-Fi. I can go to my wireless and settings, and I can see my Wi-Fi is online. If I click on it, it's not really obvious, but then it shows up, and I can see that I'm broadcasting my SSID. I've got my WPA3. I've got optional PMF enabled. I'm in bridge mode with just my regular untagged management VLAN. I'm not doing band steering and instead doing fast roaming per its recommendations. And I've learned that this is sort of how that kind of works. So you can click this edit and it actually just changes the name. So if I want to go to my router, for example, I can go to my router And here's my router connected, and I can double click on the router and I can log into this router now. And I was trying to figure that out earlier. And then I can go to my topology. I can see my clients that are connected to the router. So there's my ASUS Fold, my access point, and my switch. I thought it was weird that I could name the switch long, but when I tried to add the access point or the router, I was limited to 15 characters. So it's -R and -A, whereas the switch, I was allowed to add more than 15 characters. I thought that was interesting. Go to my WAN. I can see that I've got my WAN 1 and WAN 2. So WAN 1 is my primary, my failure, and then I have my WAN 2. One thing I want to note, which I'll throw in as a some B-roll here, is that the router has some pretty interesting interfaces here. Let me go up to the picture of the router. Go to the summary here. So LAN 4, this is a 10 gigabit SFP port. LAN 5 or WAN 2 is actually a 1, 2.5, 5, and 10 gigabit RJ45. So this supports 10 gigabit WAN. Then I have a 1 and 2.5 gigabit Ethernet WAN. And then I've got these 3 1/2.5 gigabit RJ45 or Ethernet LANs. So if I could 10 gigabit down to the switch, and then I could 10 gigabit up to the internet, and that's how we're going to achieve that 10 gigabits of internet throughput on the WAN 2, and then you should fail over to WAN 1 if you're going to use more than a gig or more than 2.5 gigs of internet. But I just thought that was interesting. But it's neat that they have this 10 gigabit LAN, this 10 gigabit LAN/WAN, and then these 2.5 gigabit Ethernet LANs. Here we have our VLANs. So if I wanted to create, I do get weird pop-ups. Oh, there we go. I do get weird pop-ups every once in a while. Let's see here. Let me go back into West Networks. Here's my office. There we go. Let's see here. I was in router. Double click on the router. I was in VLANs. Okay. Oh, getting kicked out. So I click VLANs and I get kicked out of the network. That's weird. Go back into this again. Maybe I'm not supposed to be in VLANs. Okay, let's try routing. So routing, I got static routes. Oh, and I got kicked out again. Okay. I'm not exactly sure what's going on here, so I'll stop trying because I'm just gonna look insane. But router, click edit, and then I've got security, firewall, port forwarding, and service management, statistics, notifications, maintenance, troubleshooting. It looks like as long as I don't click in it, it works. If I click it, it seems to be kicking me out. So I have my VLAN and my DHCP servers, my routing, my IPsec, my firewall, port forwarding, and service management, statistics, notifications, maintenance, and troubleshooting. And let's see here. VLAN network set. Oh, maybe I'm supposed to go. Oh, it doesn't want me to. It's kicking me out because it doesn't want me manipulating the router. It wants to look at this. It wants me here. So I bet you I could create a new VLAN. Interesting. So VLANs won't be submitted without trunks. So you have all the options here. Configure network name. So let's call it guest. And we got data, voice, and video. So we're gonna call it a data network. VLAN name guest. VLAN 10. Next. So then I would want to trunk that down. I believe VLAN 2 is I have a checkbox. Oh, okay, you can't manipulate those. And then I want to trunk it on port 2. Okay, here we go. So I'm trunking it down on port 2 to port 2 because, and then I'm assuming I need, this is my uplink here, my port 24. I see this uplink, so I probably need to trunk it uplink. So I have this VLAN 10, authorized, unauthorized, but I'm only getting that one option there. And then I can make it inter-VLAN router, routing. I can enable device management. Okay, so here we go, trunk ports, access ports. Okay, so I check them and then I make them trunk. So if I click on this and say access, I can click on this and say trunk, or I can click on this and say delete. Okay. Oh, I like that. So I'm adding VLAN 10 trunking through the network to the switches. Video optimization, traffic lowest priority. I like the lowest priority, that seems neat. Radius configuration, MAC authorization, IP filtering. Next. Add a new SSID. Dash guest. (5 and 6 gigahertz). Wi-Fi password. Click next. So I've got my guest Wi-Fi. Click next. DHCP will be enabled. Click next. Ensure the VLAN subnet does not overlap with the WAN. So DHCP server. You could do 172.16. Or no, we'll do 172.31.200.1. DHCP server, turned it on. Make it 4 hours. So here's my router. My gateway is going to be 200.1, 202 to 254. Add reservations. Click next. VLAN will be deployed to the following devices. Confirm. And view networks. And so I've created this guest VLAN. So now I should have another SSID with the guest name, and then I should have VLAN 10. So I should be able to connect my phone, Wi-Fi. Let's see if I see that guest network yet. I know sometimes it can take a few seconds. Oh, there it is, guest network. Okay. 3. Connect. Obtaining IP address. Checking for, and I have internet. And I have a 172.31.200 IP address. So if we go, so I'll show you that in a second. So syslog configuration, LED, so routing, routed VLANs, gateways, SNMP. So I can set up enable SNMP trap with community stream, MDNS gateway. Device groups, okay. So, how do we get back? Back? No, that didn't work. Alright, that worked. Okay, so if I go to clients, I should see my phone on the 172 network. Look at that. Peter's Pixel 7 connected to the router. Awesome. So I go to wireless. I should have 2 SSIDs now. There we go. That's nice. So let's create a capture. Let's go back to, let's see, router VPN. VLAN network setup. Okay, that did that already. So wired settings, VLAN network setup. Okay, so I go to wired settings, I get VLAN's group port settings. So I'm assuming that's LACP and things like that. Ingress limits, storm limit. Oh, wow. Max frame size. Oh, here we go. Lagging. Spanning tree. PoE downtime scheduling. Radius configuration, probably for 802.1x. Interesting. Wireless. I wonder if we can set up a captive portal settings. Add SSID. Nope, options. Let me edit the guest. Oh, captive portal. Enable a captive portal. Instant captive portal, basic captive portal, or external captive. Let's do basic for right now. Redirect URL. www.westnetworks.com. Session 1 hour. Logo. EULA. Hit save. Wait 3 minutes and test. Okay, so I'll wait 3 minutes and test it. So set up a captive portal. See, there's Wi-Fi scheduling, URL filtering, block list. Let's hit add. Let's see what happens. Add a domain. Let's add. Who doesn't Netgear like? Let's do Cisco.com. Save. We'll see what it was. I'll try that with my Wi-Fi. So instant Wi-Fi. Description. Learn more. Interesting. I did set that captive portal, so we'll see if that works here in a second. I was giving it the 3 minutes that it needs. Okay, so I have my I signed into the network, and my phone says, please sign in to network. So I click sign in. Oops. Sign into network. Has a Netgear wireless network. Hit agree. Login successful, and now I'm connected to the internet. So the captive portal worked. Okay, so the captive portal did work. Let's see if there's any more settings in that captive portal. That was pretty basic. Okay, well, I mean, it is basic there. So I can choose a logo, Netgear, message, wireless network, EULA. So it doesn't look like there's any sort of security. Instant captive portal. Your new instant captive portal requires more credits. Please buy instant captive portal. Okay, so I don't have enough credits for that. So it doesn't look like the captive portal has any options other than simply just giving you a logo and EULA. And then we have to buy this instant captive portal. Here we go. Integrates most social networks, provides support for voucher scheduling. Okay, there you go. So if you want to give like tokens and stuff, we need credits for that. This is basically just your EULA, and then this is where it's hosted by somebody else. Okay, that makes sense. Well, anyways, that did work. So awesome. Well, I have successfully taken this PR60X, connected it to my hotspot, got it on the internet, added a switch, added an AP, updated all the firmware, created a guest VLAN with the captive portal. I signed into the network, and my phone says, please sign in to network. So I click sign in. Oops. Sign into network. Has a Netgear wireless network. Hit agree. Login successful, and now I'm connected to the internet. So the captive portal worked. And tested the captive portal. So my next tech is just to do some bandwidth and throughput testing. I'm gonna got to set this up with a public IP on my BGP infrastructure, and then test some throughput and do some bigger deployment testing. But overall, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think.